Well, hello my crochet friends. It is time to take our patchwork squares we've been working on since what, March of 2024. It's time to take our squares and lay them out and start stitching them together. Now, you know, everybody's got their own way of putting squares together. You can whip stitch, you can slip stitch. I use a single crochet. I line all my squares up and I work on them left to right to make rows, and then I work on them top to bottom to make columns, okay? So I know that I need over 300 squares to make my blanket the size that would fit a full-size bed or a double-size bed, depending on what you like to call them, all right? So for the sake of this video, beds are singles, full, queen, king. I'm doing full, okay? So I need 16 squares across at the bottom, left and right. I need 23 squares tall going top to bottom. I've got one full-size bed in my house, and I'm gonna go use that bed and start laying out my squares. I would love to be the kind of person that could just leave the squares in like a bag or a box or a bin and just pull them out one at a time or two at a time, because you're stitching them together, and do them completely random like that. But because I am who I am, I like a little bit more control. So I literally lay out over 300 squares and see if it's pleasing to me, if it's in the right order, if there's too many blues in one spot or two of the same color are touching. I can't have that. So I like a little bit more control. So that is what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm going to start laying out my squares. Okay, so let's go lay these squares out and start stitching them together to make a blanket, because it has been long enough. Okay, so here we go. This is my crocheted basket, and I've got all my squares in there. I've got a little post-it that says full size, and it's got my numbers on there. So I'm just going to start with the first row and lay them out and go from there. So even though these are two different yarns, they're too close in color, so I will not sit them together. We got to break them up. Okay, so I took my squares out of the bag and I just dumped them on the floor because I was having a hard time seeing what I was pulling out. And I needed, because you know, you're going to pull out all the colors on the top and they're all going to be the same. They're going to be different than the colors on the bottom. So now I can pick through this pile a little easier. And this is my first starting row. Okay. Just try to make sure I don't have two colors, or I mean two squares of the same color touching. So how about, I'm going to take a few minutes, turn the camera off, and I'm going to try and get at least 5 rows done and then go from there, okay? This is, it's hard work. A lot of decision making, and I'm not in the best of shape today, so I'm fighting off a cold. So I'll be back to you in a few minutes, alright? Okay, so I have my first 5 rows put together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I think it's a good even distribution of the squares, right? But when I get over here where it's further for me to reach, I'm seeing this one and this one are the same. And they're only 1 square apart. So, and then I'm also seeing this one and this one are the same. So you see, that's why you gotta lay them out. So I'm gonna take this one out and I'm gonna put this one in there. Alright. Now, we wanna take this one out and find something else to go in there. There we go. Now, see, I want it to be as random as possible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pile these up because I'm okay with them, and then I'm going to do 5 more rows, okay? I cannot lay out all 23 because that's a lot of climbing around on the bed. And I don't exactly have floor space. It's big enough. So I have to do this a little differently than I've done in the past. Not that you guys have seen me do it in the past, but I'm going to pile these up and then work on the next batch. So this is all I mean by piling them up. I take this, put it here, I put the next one, and I just sit it on top and see how it takes these big 5 rows, kind of condenses them a little bit. And then I can still see where colors are sitting next to each other. Okay? Easy peasy. And whatever you do, do not overthink where you're putting your squares. Okay? This is supposed to be the fun part. And I know some people really do agonize over placement of color. So there. So when I do the next batch of 5 rows, I can still see where the colors are here. It's just it's not taking up so much room on the bed. Alright, so let's take a look. How did I do with this next set? So we're going this way, and then this way. I do think these are a little too similar in color, so I'm going to leave them there for the moment. I think that batch looks good. Okay, friends, I've got 5 rows done there, 5 there, so that's 10. I just did another 5, so that's 15 rows. And then this is what I've got left on the floor. There is Bandit playing. There is Arlo waiting for his turn. Get it, Bandit, get it. What are you playing with? Of course, he has a cat toy, and if it gets close enough to the yarn, he's like, yeah, Mom, then I can play with yarn. The answer is no, Bandit. No, you cannot. Cats. Alright, so I'm going to condense these piles, make them a little more condensed. There we go. So I've got 15 rows planned out. I've got 18 more to go. I'm having a hard time breathing today because of the cold. So it might be a good time to say hi, guys. I've missed doing videos. I'm glad that I'm back at it. It might be slow going for a little while. Life is better, but it was hard for a while. I'm gonna thank you guys for being patient with me. I don't know what to tell you or how much I can tell you about my personal life and what was going on, because I like to be open and honest and transparent, but it didn't just involve me, it also involved the husband and the kids and the house, so I'm not quite sure how much I can share with you. I can tell you that I'm glad to be talking to the camera again and thinking about making videos and sitting in front of the camera. I'm excited to get back to crocheting. I know a lot of people, crocheting is very therapeutic for them, but sometimes where I'm at in life, I can't focus, and it makes it hard for me to pick up my hook. I have not picked up my hook in months. I actually just started using it about 2 weeks ago. Lots of ums, because I didn't script out this video. I am just taking it 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. So I'm in the middle of laying out all the squares. Now, my process is, this is my first run through. What I'll do is, I have more room outside in my front yard than I do inside my house. Like, my yard is like 10 times bigger than my house. So I'll grab a comforter from one of the beds, take it out, lay it in the grass, and then on a nice sunny day, I will take all the squares and lay them out completely to see what the overall look is from standing up instead of just how they are piled up on a bed. So that's my next step. It won't be today, and it won't be in today's video, because this cold that I have, it is kicking my butt. A lot of pain in my chest when I cough, and I'm doing a lot of coughing. So if you see a break in the video, it's only because I had a coughing fit and I had to stop recording. I want to thank everybody who has reached out to me with comments on past videos, emails, and Instagram. I want to thank everybody who has reached out, and I'm sorry if I didn't answer everybody. I've been working for the last week, going through everything and just answering like 3 or 4 or 5 at a time. But it's a little bit slow going, you know. So I want to thank everybody who did reach out. I am better today than I was yesterday, and that's all I ever aim for, okay? So let's not make this a confessional video or a therapy video. Let's focus on getting those squares together. I know a lot of you have a lot of squares that need to be stitched together, and I will show you, not this video, but the next video, because this video is just me planning out where all the squares are going, because I like to control the colors, because that's what I do. So I'm going to rest for a little bit, have some lunch, and then I will go back to doing the last 8 rows, because I got to do 23 rows. So I got 8 more rows to go. So I'll be back to you after lunch. Okay, friends, that's 5 more rows done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have some colors or squares that I'd like to switch out, like right here, too many dark ones. Maybe those two too close together. Okay, so I'm going to condense this pile And then I've got 5, 10, 15, 20. I've got 20 rows. So 3 more to go. And this is what my pile's looking like. Alright, so these are the last 3 rows. It should be row 21, 22, and 23. I can see that I definitely do have to do a lot of rearranging. These all wound up at the bottom. I did not put any up at the top. And then this here. So I do need to do some rearranging, which is why this is my first pass at putting them together. So now I am going to label them, and I'll show you how I do that after I get them stacked up, okay? Alright, so here's my first stack of squares. There's 23 squares in this stack. It's stack number 1 because I read left to right. And this is the bottom left-hand corner. So when I go to lay them out, I'll lay this down, and then that one on top of it until I get to the top of the blanket, which is the bottom of the pile. So yeah, that's how I do it. And then all my other labels after that are just labeling the rows or columns. So I've got 13 rows in my basket. I've got 3 more to go. And I think I'm going to have to lay them sideways. But I do have my numbers actually tucked them underneath the first one. There we go, my friends. That is the first part of putting the squares together, is actually laying them out and deciding placement. So this is the last 3 rows, and then my small pile of leftovers. And then of course my post-it tell me how big I needed to go. Okay friends, I have to say that's it for today's video. I feel like I can't breathe, so I think I'm gonna go take some cold medicine and go rest, maybe watch some YouTube videos. This is what I have on in the background. I watch a lot of booktube videos. Okay, I watch journal videos, furniture restoration videos. I'll watch as long as it's entertaining, you know. So, let's see. Why don't you guys tell me in the comments below how you guys have been doing? Is everybody doing well? Is everybody okay? Is everybody getting ready for the holiday season? For me, right now, my favorite holiday is Halloween. I even have a Halloween tree that I have not been able to take out yet this year. Because I always wind up getting sick in October every year, like clockwork. So, I know this video is a little chaotic, but it is the first step that I do in order to put my patchwork squares together. And when I go to lay it out a second time, I'm going to see so many lighter colors at the bottom and not enough lighter colors at the top. It's going to be a little, dark on the top, just because of the way I was picking them out. So I have to do it again. But I think outside in my yard, I can lay a comforter out in the grass and then lay all the squares on the comforter and then go from there. And then I will show you how I just use a single crochet to just stitch them. I stitch them across in rows with the top of one square against the bottom of another square. When that's all done, then I turn it sideways and I do from the bottom to the top, so that that's when I'm using the edges where all the chain 2 and then the last stitch of the row. That's when I do that. My joining color, I usually just use whatever kind of leftover yarn I have, and I'm leaning towards either a brown color, because I like neutrals that'll hopefully blend into the background, or an off-white. I'm not quite sure what color I'm going with yet. And hook size, I'm probably using a G, which is my G is a 4.25 millimeter. I miss doing videos. I'm glad to be back at it. It is going to be slow going to get started, to get back into making videos. So thank you for being patient with me. If I haven't already said that, know that I love you guys. I thank you for reaching out. So let's get back to crocheting, right? And I'll see you guys in a couple days, okay? Bye.